attack occurred. And as all of you know, I was governor of Virginia during the 9/11 attack. I took the immediate action that was necessary. We activated the Emergency Operations Center. We activated the National Guard. We warned the state police if there was evidence of gunplay anywhere in Virginia that they should report it to the Central Emergency Operations Center. I walked across Capitol Square, went to the third floor governor's office just in time to find that the second state attack that day was Virginia, because the Pentagon is in Virginia. It's not in D.C. Who responds? Police, fire, rescue, emergency services. Who deals with the injured and the sick? The hospitals and the healthcare community. These are the moments and the opportunities that we still have ahead of us. Now, frankly, after that, Congress extended the commission 2 years. They went back, dusted off the reports, said, oh my God, and looked at them. And then dusted it off and gave us 2 more years to do some more additional work. But these are the kinds of experiences that I've had that I think can add to the safety and security of this nation. I won't go through the entire litany of all the issues, but we have so much to think about in the area of immigration, for example. This is a compelling issue. It's a very serious matter. I just spent the other day in my continuing legal education 6 hours reviewing immigration law. Now, why in the world would over generations and generations of the United States create a body of law that talks about who can come, how they can come, what their designations are, what their rules are, what their reporting requirements are, and then we just decide to disregard that law and ignore it in an immigration situation? People who are here as immigrants are welcome people. Shucks, I guess we're all immigrants. The Gilmores, my family rumor, came to Madison County in about 1840 from Ireland. I think we were Scotch-Irish, but we don't really know. You know, we're Americans, but we know that we came from somewhere else. This is all true, and the Republican Party, above all things, need not send a message of anger or dislike to anyone. That's not what we are as Republicans. But we do need to stand by the law and to make sure that the law is enforced. It goes beyond the immigration issue. If we all respect the law, if we keep our traffic laws, if we obey all the laws everywhere and play by the rules, then by gosh, everybody ought to play by the rules and obey the law. There are other key issues, transportation. We actually had the most forward-looking transportation program in many, many years. That can all be shown and demonstrated. And when the big tax increase came in by the Democrats, not 1 cent went to transportation, despite all their braying and talking about those kinds of issues. And education. We Republicans really believe that people, if they have a good education and are empowered, can go on and become more independent and do key things. Education is very central to the conservative basis of philosophy. That's what we do. We are the education party, and we will never surrender to the Democrats. Never. And then, of course, taxation, naturally. We understand the value of every human being and their capacity to earn and keep their own money and define their own lives in a way that the Democrats are not capable of understanding and will never understand. They truly believe that the highest form of government is the maximum possible taxation of people and the maximum possible expenditure. That's what they believe. They simply are not able to understand conservative thought, which is the empowerment of the individual and the welfare of our families. They just can't get that. So that's our strength. So there's a lot to talk about as we go forward. Now, I'll give you a technical thing, Keith, and I'll turn it back over to you. I'm having fun, so I'm talking. Keep going. You know? But just give you one or two more thoughts. Just a technical point. We're running against a man who has made a giant fortune. In America today, a wealthy person has an advantage running for federal office. We have set down rules now for federal office that says you can't raise, if you run for a federal office, more than $2,300 a person and no corporate money. You know, and that's it. Well, that's a challenge. Particularly when you got a guy who can write a $5, $10 million check to himself anytime he wants to. That is a big advantage, because it's not that you can't raise the money. I raised money all my life in politics. I actually like it, as a matter of fact. I'll tap all you all before we get it. I think it's actually great fun to ask people to invest in the future of their state and their country. But It's hard work. It requires an enormous amount of work. I don't say this casually. This is not a matter where I could today run around this room and see all the folks that are here and ask each of y'all for $100 and run for the United States Senate. Just not possible. We need at least $15 billion, right? And if Mark Warner wants to, he can double that anytime he wants to. So this is a serious problem. And it means that we have to have people who will ask people among their friends and in their churches and in their communities for contributions. Doesn't have to be a lot of money. Doesn't have to be a lot of money. As a matter of fact, the law doesn't even permit you to raise a lot of money. Only $2,300 a person, that's it. You're done at that point. So we have to think about this. I had somebody the other day say, if you decide to run for the Senate, I'll contribute you $1,000. And I said, that's great. I'd be happy to have it. But I'd be happier if you go get 10 of your friends and raise it to you 100 at a time. He said, why was that? Why wouldn't it be better if I just wrote you the $1,000? I said, I'll accept the $1,000. Don't worry about that. But here's the point. If you get me 10 people who each contribute 100, I got 10 donors. And that's the ball game now in the federal system because of McCain-Feingold. And that's it. In order to get $20 million, right, do my math here, $10 million. In order to get that kind of level of cash, you have to have tens of thousands of donors. That's the reality. And you know what? One candidate cannot do that unless he has personal wealth. So I'm going to come back and I want to talk to you about it. I don't care if you raise $100. I'm going to ask everybody in this room to raise something. I don't care what it is. Raise something if we decide to go. And that will make the difference in this race. Now, the final point is this. I told you a little story earlier about Roxanne and I getting together at the beginning of our lives together, going door to door. I understand inherently and by experience the fundamental value of all of you. That's why I'm here, and why when Keith asked me to come, I was so happy to be able to spend some time with you. I understand the value of all of you. The party leadership who's here, your chairman, I've been a chairman of the party. I was the chairman of the Rankin County Party. I've been a rank and file person. I worked as a college Republican. I worked as a young Republican. I've done all the things that all of you have done, and I believe in it and the value of it. Our party must be unified behind a candidate. We must be unified. This is not easy. This is a very diverse party that we're in. Our thought process of the Republican Party is very different, and it requires a great tolerance to bring the Republican Party together behind a candidate. But one thing we will not do, we will not compromise our values and our principles. We will not do that. And then we will go forward with these ideas, show them how they are significant not just to the base, although the base is central and must be drawn together, but then we reach into the center based upon these fundamental issues, and then we begin to move out into places where the Democrats would take for granted. People that they would take for granted, groups they would take for granted, people they drive into the ground every day based upon the way that they do politics and thinking, and we will appeal to them based upon our values and a better quality of life for them through our fundamental conservatism, and we will win. Thank you very much for the chance to be here, Mr. Gilmore. You've got to elect conservatives to the state and the federal government to address strategic kind of people of character. People who will do what they say they're going to do. And then you can begin to at least move things in the right direction. We're going to have to do a lot of talking once we settle on the right way of thinking. We have to do a lot of talking in the community about what works best. And then you have to deliver. You can't just simply run a campaign of know this and know that and know the other. People lose faith in us. But once we put their ideas together and we have this forward progress and we know that we can advance the cause of the people, the community, for our principles, they will rally to us. And that's what we have to do.